Okay, yeah, perfect. Um, how do you want to how do you want to kick this one off?
I don't know. It's kind of I miss Candy.
Yeah,
He would know what to say.
he, we're leaderless. um, well, okay, so you kicked the last one off. Candy's not here, even though it's his turn. I can do the intro for this one. How's that sound?
I like it.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Three Stack. I am your host, Hugepwnr. I am sadly only joined with my good friend and co-host, Boomrazzle.
Hello.
Unfortunately, Candy is unavailable to record this week's episode as he is currently moving to his new home, which is also his old home. Uh, don't want to give out many details about his personal life, obviously, but that's what's going on this week. And we were actually not planning on doing an episode, but as it turns out, the EA event that just broadcast live on Twitch and YouTube all around the globe brought gigantic news for Apex. Um, so we're going to talk about that, just Boom and
Yeah.
I.
We couldn't resist. Like so yeah, it's EA Play Live. It's replaced E3, which E3 is my favorite time of the year. I usually go to visit my grandparents in Florida this time of year, and I don't know. I'm always like excited because like there's always trailers coming out for all these different games. But because
Yeah.
of COVID-19, all of these conventions are canceled. And what I think is most interesting about E3 is people think that it's not coming back because basically all these developers, all these different studios get their own whole weekend or week or day or whatever they need to shine. I imagine EA is probably gonna have like one or two this summer. So basically, I think it's called Summer Game Fest. So it's gonna take all summer now. So this way, like, I feel like in E3, like if PlayStation and Xbox, like they would have had to have done something that weekend, both of them, and then there would be kind of a clear winner and loser. Like it would be just such a stark contrast as to like which one basically wins the weekend. I think that that's not what these companies want. They want their moment in the spotlight, and nobody wants to be the big losers. So I don't know. It's just such a big announcement today with EA Play. I think they did a pretty good job, and I'm really excited. Just like for more trailers this summer. Got my eyes on CD Project Red, Bethesda when you coming out with Elder Scrolls. Um, yeah, I think there's lots to look forward to, and this was just like the tip of the iceberg.
Okay, I'm back.
All right,
I don't know what the hell that was, but okay.
just a random dog freak out. Um, but yeah, like this summer, it's I believe it's called Summer Game Fest. It's gonna be embarrassing if that's the wrong name. Um, but I think the developers and the all these different companies are still figuring out their days. So it's cool that Apex like kind of got first in line. I guess PlayStation was a little bit before them. Um, but like I don't know, just did a whole breakdown. Everybody's talking about EA. I'm sure they're very happy with the attention. And it's cool that they put Apex first in the lineup. We were saying earlier, like there was a little bit of hate in chat, but I just gotta assume that that's like just like trolls. Like I don't know, like people being annoying, like with resident
Well,
sleepers or whatever. Because it seems
yeah,
like the EA is like, you know, that's a big statement. Like putting Apex first. That's
yeah,
their lead.
yeah, and I mean EA is a big company. There's a lot of games under their publishing umbrella, so I'm not surprised that there's a lot of people just basically trash talking the game as a whole, and
Mhm.
unattentive essentially is what it comes down to. Especially with all the new big games that are coming out. I mean, Apex is, it's not old in terms of video game age, but it has been around for a while. There's not a whole lot
Mhm.
that they can do to get a ton of new players to come in and try and enjoy the game if they don't already enjoy it.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it kind of makes sense. But getting into, I guess, the brass tacks
Yes. Let's break it
uh,
down.
of the announcement, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Well, honestly, chronologically, I like the way that they saved the best for last. So, a new event, which I think we all anticipated. When is that gonna be?
Tuesday.
It's Tuesday, which is awesome.
Yep, that's
Isn't that the new rank split too?
yes, it is. So June 23rd, obviously, of 2020 will be not only the new ranked split, but it will also be when all the new content that we're talking about in this episode drops. Um, so the new event, Armed and Dangerous.
Yeah, with
What do you
Evo
think?
armor.
Yeah,
I mean, Armed and Dangerous was very fun. They said it's like fan beloved event.
one of my
Um,
favorites, personally, honestly.
yeah, that's gonna be a blast. I did like the whenever the Smarvin Marvin skin was
Marvin, Marvin.
Smurvin Mervin. How do you even pronounce that? Um, when they like changed like the mode every 2 days, that was cool. But if it's like the best mode, I think I can handle it for a week. That's
Yeah,
gonna be good.
and it's an optional thing. So like, it's not like you have to play it. It's
Hmm.
something you opt into. So yeah, I mean, I always liked Armed and Dangerous. When the first iteration of it came out, I was like, "Oh man, this is a lot of fun! Like, this is really cool." It fit the bill for Kings Canyon.
Yeah.
Um, I just enjoyed it, and I feel like PKs are probably going to be world drops as a result, because it's not like they're going to just make Mastiff um, Eva 8 as the only world drop. So I'm sure you'll run into PKs, you'll run into,
Oh, for sure.
golden longbows, golden sentinels. So
Crapers were part of the rotation last time, right?
yes,
And it
exactly.
was white armor or something. Was that it? Maybe that was a
That
different
was
event.
the World's Edge. Man, I'm trying to think of the name on the spot. It was basically just like an Armed and Dangerous, but altered for World's Edge. Yes,
Hmm.
but I think it was only white armor or something like that.
Right. It was like white armor, armed and dangerous. So Kraber
Yeah.
was one shotting everybody.
Yeah, yeah. So like if you have a character that you're running a slow profile, me as a Wraith, I got hit with a Kraber, I get knocked even if it's like a leg shot right now, which hopefully that's not going to end up being the case. Because it's Eva armor, I think it's going to give everybody a chance to kind of armor up before their big fights against golden weapons. But we'll see how it plays out. I'm excited for it though,
Yeah.
regardless.
Well, that's gonna be a really good time.
Absolutely.
Um, I think the next thing that they showed was the next town takeover, of course. And I was
Yes.
really worried that that was gonna be the big news. But
Yeah.
crypto, I mean, it seems like they're really focusing on crypto a lot more. I think he's gonna play more of a role in the story and get his shot at being the center of attention for lore, which is pretty cool.
Yep, I agree.
Um, I mean, the town looks pretty nice. It's funny, like you look at where it is, which is right next to Repulsor, right? In gas station is what it's
That's where I
called.
thought it was, but I couldn't really place it. I wasn't confident in that. But yeah, that's where I thought it would be, yes.
I think it's there. Um, which is such a good spot for it. Like, I don't know, like that's like just such a forgettable part of the map. Like it's called gas station, but it's not even named on the map.
Right.
Um, so of course they're gonna be putting something there, and it looks pretty sweet. It's like a giant satellite dish.
So
Um,
one of the things I did notice was Crypto walks up to a workstation in the town takeover location, and it's like he highlights things. I couldn't really make out what it was. You got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's like those green, it's either red or green, like these simple access terminals that have showed up a couple times in Apex, especially in the quests. We've been seeing them a lot more. I hope that anybody can access it, and I also hope that it's got a little bit more. Like they say, oh, you'll learn more about crypto, and also it seems like this is supposed to be an impactful area. Bloodhound's trials really like are so underwhelming. Like it's cool getting good armor, but it's not even really I don't know if that juice is worth the squeeze for Bloodhound. So I hope that this is like worth it to stop by. You get it good information, and I think anybody can access that terminal, and it shows like where res points are, where different teams are, which is crazy.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a big change.
there's rank the rank split is gonna be in World's Edge, so this isn't gonna affect ranked because I can only imagine like I don't know, like this would be TSM's spot where they land and they're like, okay, like we know where we're going, like we have the path to safely find our way into the ring. That could be really crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like with all these town takeovers that they've been adding incrementally, it changes the map as a whole, but it's
Hmm.
hard as like a normal or average player, as Candy would say. It's hard to really tell to what extent it changes it, but it reminds me of when Mirage Voyage showed up a week before ALGS. That was like the big news on the
Yeah.
comp scene where, hey, like we've been preparing for this tournament and playing our rounds in scrims in a specific way, and now you're adding an entirely new point of interest with good loot and vault keys.
Yep.
It's just like I don't know. I'm glad that it's going to occur on Kings Canyon at the start of this rank split. Um, and I'm also glad that ALGS is still occurring on World's Edge because I feel like there'd be a lot of people that are like, "Whoa, hold up!
What
Like,
the hell?
how are you gonna do this to us again? We've already complained about this." So, I mean, big props to Respawn for having the foresight put it into Kings Canyon and leaving World's Edge unaffected, especially right before ranked really kicks into high gear in World's Edge next week.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that is them learning from their mistakes a little
Yes,
bit.
yes, much to their credit. I would agree. I would agree. What were some of the other
Dude,
what were
like
some
that
of the other big
it's crazy.
things?
I'm so happy that like these two things, like the new event and the town takeover, are like
Yeah.
the smallest apples.
Dude,
Like so
yeah.
now, like I almost fell out of my chair when they showed the mobile respawn beacon with Octane's voice line. And you just gotta wonder, like these voice actors, especially like Johnny Young, Chris Edgerly, Roger Craig Smith. Wait, is it Smith?
That
Mirage's
sounds
voice
right.
actor. Um, yeah, this is Razor Hale. So I don't know if it was Roger Craig Hale. These voice actors who I know play Apex.
Mhm.
They just gotta be like dying, having recorded lines like, "Hey, come and record this line." Okay, mobile respawn beacon here. What?
Yeah, I can only imagine what's going through their minds as they're going into a studio months in advance of a patch, and it's like, "Uh, what's a mobile respawn beacon?" You know?
So like they're learning from Evo armor, which Evo armor really took some tuning. I guess it's in a good spot right now. It's strong.
I like it. I like where it's at right now. I don't think
I
they
think
need
I
to
do
change
too.
it.
I think I do too. Um, but this beacon, it's so for this armed and dangerous mode, sniper shotguns, it's gonna be in your inventory automatically, and I bet that's like maybe their goal. I like that Respawn kind of returns to just their name, and they're like, this is what's going to set us apart from other games, other BRs,
Yep.
is Respawn, like the opportunity. And they kind of got like outclassed with the Gulag. Like, what a cool way to earn your way back into a game. Um, I experienced my fair share of tilt in my brief experience in the Gulag, but like they kind of got out respawned briefly. But this would be pretty cool.
Yeah, the gulag is great, but like you can also pay to have your squad mates be brought in
Yeah,
with the in-game currency you acquire. I don't know, like I like Warzone. I've always thought that it was a good game. Much better than Blackout. Anyone who
yeah.
argues that, I don't know what you're thinking personally speaking, but yeah, I don't know, dude. Like with the mobile respawn, like let's imagine for a minute because with the event, respawn beacons in the map are gone. So
Right.
they're play testing this mobile respawn thing. That's a huge, huge change because how many teams in high level competitive play have chosen to set up in a certain building because they also have visibility of the respawn beacon near them?
Yeah.
How many teams have decided let's camp, this spot because we know that this squad is over there and there's only two people and we think they got banners, like I feel like that's a gigantic change, but I think the biggest change to the meta has yet to be discussed in this episode,
Oh my god.
and that's Lifeline.
Oh my god.
It's her time to shine, baby. I feel like we're gonna see a lot more Lifelines in ranked and comp play. What do you think?
Let me pull up freaking
Yeah.
Candy's new video. That's his Candy did a tier list. and
Yep.
it made everybody mad.
Yeah.
I had people in my chat who were like, I'm out of here. You guys are idiots. They're like, it's impossible to do a tier list, but where'd we even put Lifeline? She was not high.
None
Like,
of us.
we all acknowledge she was floundering.
So this is the thing about the tier list is like none of us were on the same page really outside of like the top tier legends.
Mhm.
But I think that's also because like Candy and I had a discussion about the video beforehand,
I heard.
and I was like, "Okay, I think if you want to do this, we should do it. I think it's a great idea, but we should separate pubs, ranked, and comp/tournament play." And Candy's like, no, I think that'd make it like too complicated, too long of a video. I don't want to do that." And I was like, okay, well, let's like, you want to do an aggregate? And he had already come to that conclusion, but I was just agreeing. And he's like, yeah, let's do it like, one tier list and like, we'll just debate over all the things and we'll take
Mhm.
ranked comp and whatever and into account. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I make my tier list. I like had it all thought out and I was like all planned out and I was like, this is perfect. And then we go to
Yeah.
record it. And he's like, yeah, we should do pubs ranked and comp all different. I'm like, oh my god, I wanted to pull my theoretical hair out. But yeah, I think for me personally, are we talking aggregated or are we talking competitive or ranked or pubs? Because
I think
Lifeline.
aggregated.
So okay, my aggregated list, I had Lifeline at about like a B.
Mhm.
um, she's small enough, she's hard to hit. I believe she has a little profile on,
She
correct?
does. Yeah, oh yeah. Yep.
Yes. But her res passive is clutch. If you land capacitor or rig and you get the early ult, her potential to get purple armor on your squad is also clutch. And she's like a all around decent character. But she's not good enough to replace Gibby. And that's
Yeah.
where I've always stood, and that's where the pros stand. That's why Gibby is S tier on all of my lists. But now I don't know, man, because it's like so for our listeners, Lifeline can now passively revive downed teammates. Um, and it seems, Boom, I don't know if you saw the same thing, but it seems like you use her drone and it just kind of does it. I
Yeah.
That's all they showed. They showed a downed Bangalore. Lifeline walks up to the downed Bangalore, drops her drone. The Bangalore gets slowly rezzed. And on top of that, the drone shield comes up still, which is huge. And,
Insane.
and the Lifeline's able to fight and defend as the Bangalore gets res. What are your takeaways on that?
That's just like so good. Being able to have a player up while a res, like while a revive is happening. Um, that's so nuts. Um,
It literally,
Lifeline,
we've never had that before.
yeah, I think that's gonna be really, really strong. I think that's gonna make her viable in more serious formats like ranked or competitive,
Yes.
while also not kicking anybody out. Um,
It's
So
perfect.
so I, so I
It's
think
a
it'll make
perfect
it
change.
it'll make it a choice.
Yes, I agree.
And she still has um what I had like just considered her to be like kind of becoming ironically like this selfish legend because of her passive healing being so much faster. She could drop a Q for herself. Like she kind of used to be like the team player at the beginning, but now like I felt like she just thrives right now if you're playing her a little bit more independently. um and you can just the disrespect that you could do with Lifeline, just hitting a bat. Like if you have cover for 2.5 seconds, like you're just walking around a car and somebody's chasing you or whatever, um, hitting a bat like that, like it's just so good. And then you just mix that now with reviving somebody passively with the robot. That I'm excited to play a Lifeline, especially because like I'm just cool on Pathfinder right now. I don't think that his mobility is gonna be strong enough for me to choose him over Lifeline. So I think next rank split, I'm gonna hit Lifeline hard, and I think we're gonna be seeing a lot of Lifelines. Like people are gonna start rolling their eyes,
I
like when you
agree.
turn a corner and there's a caustic trap. It's gonna be like son of a dude. It's just gonna be Lifelines as far as the eye could see.
Yeah, Jokey and I were talking about this as the announcement was being made, where like imagine, if you will, you're running a Wraith Gibby Lifeline build, and your Wraith goes down, right? Because the Wraith almost always goes down first. She should be your entry fragger. She should
Mhm.
be the one that TPs your team into the next location to fight a squad or to get away from a squad. Um, and she's got low profile, even on limb damage, right? She's kind of like Pathfinder in that regard. So
Mhm.
she goes down fast, and I felt the changes. I have to be extremely cautious about when I push, when I don't push, whatever. Um, Imagine your Wraith goes down, and your Gibby and your Lifeline have their abilities up. Gibby jumps on the Wraith, drops bubble so she doesn't get thirsted. Lifeline drops drone and has gold bag.
Yeah.
That is freaking insane. That is
Yeah.
crazy. Cause like your Wraith is coming up with 100 health and a full Gibby bubble around her. Or conversely, if you don't have a Gibby, she's at least got the drone shield protector from enemy fire. And it seems like whatever direction you're facing when you drop the drone, that's the direction the shield is facing. And I feel like
Oh yeah.
the recent Lifeline change that they pushed that everyone was kind of scratching their heads about was, why can't I push the drone anymore? Why did they make it stationary? Why doesn't, like, when I walk by a drone, why doesn't it move? Why can't I push this thing?
Wait, pardon? I don't
Yeah,
remember this change. I haven't noticed it. I haven't played enough Lifeline. What is the change?
Lifeline's drone, you know how you used to be able to, like, it had collision essentially.
Yeah, it would bump.
You can't do that anymore. Where you
What?
drop the, yeah, how do you not know this,
I don't
Boom?
know. I used to play around with it a lot, but
Oh
just
my
you
god,
you you sink
amateurs.
six you stick 1600 hours, sink 1600 hours like into a game. I don't know. I just stopped being like as playful with the drone. And I'm more just straight aggro. Like I don't need to top off anymore. I don't have time for that.
Sure,
I'm
whatever.
not kicking the drone because I used to try to sprint with it, and then like you back in the day, you used to like get it caught on your feet and like
Yeah, yeah.
heal and run for a while, which I loved.
Yeah, so they took that out. So there's no collision with the drone, so you can't interact with it. I feel like they saw this change coming and they planned for this buff, and that was the first step that they implemented to make it happen.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, I feel like that's somehow related, maybe not directly, but indirectly at the very least, like that's why. They don't want people to be able to drop the drone and then kick it away and still get the revive and also heal people behind a different cover, because I feel like that would be crazier. Um,
wow.
but yeah, like this Lifeline change is, honestly, I think that was almost the biggest news. But wait, there's more. Um, what do you think about crossplay?
Oh my god, I was about to say I was like Poner. I mean, I'm happy Mirage is getting an heirloom. I feel like Lifelines is bigger. I forgot about crossplay. Oh my god. I was like, it's no way. I mean, I'm gonna get it, but
Do you want to talk about the heirloom first?
no,
'Cause
no, no,
I forgot about
no.
the heirloom.
I forgot. I forgot about crossplay. No, holy mackerel, the crossplay. That so it's coming fall. Who knows what that means? September 1st, November 1st, somewhere in between, probably.
Yeah,
Um,
agreed.
although that's so far away. I mean, it's only 3 months,
3 months, yeah.
90 days. Um, and it's coming out on Switch and there's crossplay. I think we both agree that it's basically it's teetering. Its success is teetering on, is it opt in, or is this going to be the new normal? Like, you are going to be playing
Yeah.
with people in your game from PlayStation with Xbox. Likely it'll be opt in, which we might not reap the benefit.
I feel
Um,
like for your average pub game, you'll reap the benefit because most people aren't even going to know that that's an option. Most people aren't even going to
mhm.
have heard the news. Um, I hope and I feel like ranked should be you can't opt out.
Yeah.
And for the console players out there that are, shuddering at the thought of having to go up against PC players because, oh, there's so many hackers on PC. Oh, there's so many issues. Oh, console players can't compete with PC players. Like, I understand and I get that, but you're still also fighting other console players. And not only are you fighting other console players, you're fighting other players on console on the opposite console. So if you're PlayStation, you're fighting Xbox too. Like
Yeah.
there's the number of PC players in your lobbies is not going to be higher than console by any stretch of the imagination. The only time I would think that that becomes a real issue for you is if you're in Diamond Plus, where you're trying to get Master or Predator. Um, and if you're trying to get Predator at that point, if you're playing on console, you're good enough, and I say this with full confidence, you're good enough to play on PC and not have an issue. If most of these kids that are coming from console and getting on PC are hitting top 500 pred every split, you're gonna be fine. If you're already hitting Predator on console, you're gonna be fine. It'll be harder for you to hit Predator, but you're going to compete with the best, and it's only going to add more players to the pool. It's going to make all of our queue times faster. It's going to bring
Yeah.
more dynamic fights. I don't have to see freaking, the same players in every single one of my lobbies. The guys that if you're on console right now, the guys that I'm fighting when I hit Diamond 3 Plus,
The
who
best in the world.
the best in the world,
Literally.
period dot, you have a chance to fight them without having a monster PC build, and like there's no advantage, honestly. I don't feel like, um unless you're a top tier mouse and keyboard player, you don't there's no big advantage there. I feel like Apex has done a really good job of balancing controller players versus mouse and keyboard players. There's disadvantages to both. um you got the aim assist flowing through the veins of your controller, but mouse and keyboard's got better movement and you
Yeah.
can loot while moving. And that's literally about it. I can snap to someone quicker than a controller player, sure, especially if they're dancing around you in close proximity, but that's it. If you lock onto me at close range with the R99, I'm going down. Like, there's nothing I can do about that. And I accept that. And I think that's a fair trade-off. And I'm completely cool with that. So yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like this is going to be a big, good change, and it'll give our console players a time to shine. The guys that won't switch to PC or haven't switched for whatever reason, it's going to make new names very, very apparent in the PC community, and vice versa too. So I think
Yeah.
it's going to be great for all content creators and streamers, essentially.
Yeah. I think ultimately it's gonna be best for everybody. Um they've definitely and by they I mean Respawn has taken like a good incremental approach. Like, I can now see a little bit more of the big picture of what they've been doing. And I don't know if it was the same on console. I doubt it was. Maybe it was. But the no reg issues at the beginning of season 5, when they swapped from either server side or client side for
Yes.
Damage, basically, my understanding is that helped them deal with hacking.
Yes.
And the hacking has been a lot um, less noticeable this season. I can only think of like 2 hackers this season, whereas like last season there were like so many that you just like gave up because there was just like times of the split where it was just like, okay, it's hacker season, like hopefully you got your RP because like
Yeah.
it's hell out there. Um,
I
so
agree.
I think that that's really great that they like fixed that issue, and now they're moving on to cross platform, so that way it doesn't just like completely fail on start, because I do think it's going to be good bringing the player base together. Because like you said, like anybody that's wanted to try Apex has tried Apex. It's a free to play game, so how much more is it realistically going to grow? You just need the player base to be as vibrant and full as possible. That's going to help it grow in the long run, is faster queue times, a more accurate, people complaining about skill based, or how Diamond 3 is just where you fight predators. I think it should help with all of that stuff. It's just volume of players. The queue times are laughable. Like, I know at the top of every game there's longer queue times for like the absolute 1% of the 1%, but it's like the top 5% of Apex is ridiculous queue times. So that needs to be addressed. I think that's a really great thing. What I'm probably most concerned about now is it's like January 2021, cross-platform has been completely implemented. The top 400 predators are all Nintendo Switch players. Imperial Hal now plays on a Mario Kart wheel because the aim assist is so strong. Everybody's buying Switches in droves. Could you imagine? He's like, on me. He's like drifting his wheel. And then like Albert Laley's just like, free kills. He's like using nunchucks, like dancing. Reps is like laying his Watson freaking pylons with a Wii Fit board.
Oh my god, that's the funniest shit.
Dude, I cannot wait to play Apex on Switch. That's gonna be so weird.
Dude,
It's gonna be great.
That was the other big news too, is like, not only is crossplay being implemented, Nintendo Switch, Apex.
Switch?
Like, okay, real talk. Let's slow down for a second. Who the hell's gonna play Apex on a Switch? That couldn't be me, but I get it. I understand why you would want it. Is there a market for that?
I don't know.
I guess you just port the game over for free, and if it,
exactly. If it's there, it's there.
Yeah, I'm kind of more shocked that it wasn't there before. I didn't know that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, the more the merrier.
Yeah,
bring it on.
Come on over. Come. And then Apex on Steam. How does that change stuff?
So they kind of like they sandwich that between so many big things, like the town takeover and the Lifeline buff and the mobile respawn beacon, and they're like, oh, it's on Steam, and I'm like, please don't be over. And they're like, also cross-platform. I was like, holy cow! Yeah, wait a minute, Steam. So what's the point of that? I'm open for it. I guess open the floodgates. Anybody should be able to play, but besides, like,
I mean,
there's some holdouts who don't want to download Origin.
So I'm gonna be completely honest. When I first built my PC, I didn't download Origin until Apex came out. I'm gonna take that back. I'm gonna take that back right now. Battlefield 1. I downloaded Origin for that.
And then deleted it when you're done.
And then I just I uninstalled Origin. I was like, I'm never gonna use this. Why am I gonna use this? Like, there's no games on here that I want to play anymore.
Oh yeah, just a couple of years ago, like just the mention of any other game launcher, like your eyes are like rolling so far in the back of your head, like. It's just like, give me a break. You would think I'm
having an O face.
But yeah, you're just, but in the worst way. Your toes just curl. No, so Steam has really like for
They
all
got
of
a
you console
stranglehold.
players, they have a stranglehold, but the market share that they've lost has been substantial. Well, I'm looking at my desktop now, and it's Steam, BattleNet, GOG. I know, don't
Epic.
make fun of me. Origin, Uplay, Epic, and then like Valorant is like a Riot launcher, and then I have Rockstar, which is its own abomination. Um, so
Yep.
much. Like it used to just be Steam. Like it was all there, but
Steam's still the number one dog.
for sure. They have the market share. They've got
Yep.
so many of the biggest games, CS:GO,
Yep.
League, Dota.
Yeah, because it's like a lot of these developers, Blizzard, let's say, with BattleNet. Blizzard's in-house BattleNet, fantastic. Can't say enough good stuff about it. But it's all Blizzard games, so if Blizzard didn't make the game, it's not on BattleNet, you know?
Yeah. And then
Whereas
only
Steam,
recently changed with
right.
like a couple others, one or two huge titles.
Yes, absolutely. And that was just with like deals between them and Activision, whoever else. But yeah, I think having a free to play game like Apex on Steam is simply just going to bolster numbers even further. We're going to have new
Yeah.
players enter the arena that have never played. So I really, really look forward to just absolutely destroying them on my alt account ranked accounts. I'm frothing at the mouth right now for that. That's great. You know, like they're trying to bring more and more players into the game because I feel like the player base as it stands is as big as it's gonna get. We're in season 5. Season 6 is, another 3 or 6 weeks away. Sorry. Um, they're not going to be adding a whole lot more players, especially not at the rate that they're probably looking for. I feel like a lot of the new players that they are seeing in metrics are Smurf accounts,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I feel like going to Steam's a good thing for everyone. Crossplay is a fantastic thing for everyone. I think it's gonna make queue times a lot shorter. It's gonna make lobbies a little bit easier for everyone. I don't want to have to fight Imperial Hell in every single one of my Diamond 3 plus lobbies. It's not fun. Like, as someone who doesn't play this game competitively and who isn't like I just don't have the mechanical skill to fight him 1v1. I might kill him, I might kill him 1 out of 5 times, but that 4 out of 5 times it's just not fun. It's just not fun. I
Yeah.
don't feel like it's a fair fight. Um but yeah, so I feel like it's good for everyone all the way up the tree, especially for the highest skill players. I guess Mirage Heirloom.
Very
Mirage
on
Heirloom,
brand. Yes.
yeah, is
I
one of the
like
last
it.
things. It's a trophy.
It's a trophy of
It's a
Mirage.
trophy, dude.
World's best battle royale player or something it says on it. I just got
What a
some
meme.
shards that I'm sitting on. You best believe I'm crafting that puppy before I get a kunai. I'm gonna go bop some people with that golden trophy. It's gonna be great.
You're gonna be the only Apex player in the world who has gotten heirloom shards and not crafted kunai versus Mirage's trophy.
That's a world record, baby.
I respect you for it.
Man knows what he wants. It's a trophy of himself.
That's great.
No, that's cool. Mirage gets it. They still got to show love for Gibby, Bangalore, just all the others. But I think those were the OGs. Still need their Mirage trophy. And then I the only other thing that I noticed from the announcements today was, with Crypto getting a little bit more focus in the lore, his robot speaks to him, and it's his sister.
Yeah, what's up with that? What's up with that?
That was cool. She
don't
just talked about
disagree.
how he was in danger. And then they get into the bunkers, like these vaults, these circular doomsday shelters that are all pocked all over the map. That's gonna be sweet. More map changes. Kings Canyon is just gonna be nuts. Very, very casual. It's good that all the competitive stuff is gonna be on World's Edge this season, the split. Because it sounds like Kings Canyon is just gonna be nuts. Like, completely uncompetitive. There's holes in the ground opening up with loot. There's a whole map station where it tells you where everybody is. It's gonna be great.
Possibly. We don't know that. We don't know that.
Yeah,
It kind of looked like that though.
kind of did.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, dude. I don't know. I'm excited for the future of Apex. For being a game as I say this loosely, as old as Apex is, which it's not that old in the grand scheme of things, but
Yeah,
it's aging slowly but surely. It has done a really good job at staying fresh and changing the meta. And I think that's the one thing that people seem adverse to them doing. But, it's like with the we saw it first with the Wraith nerf. The Pathfinder grapple nerf is one of the next big things that occurred. The Gibby buff was a huge thing. These
yeah.
meta changes are healthy. Um, and I feel like keeping that meta in flux. And this is why I've always had the opinion where I understand why people main, quote unquote, a legend, but maining and only exclusively playing a single legend is a disservice to you in the long term because the meta will change.
Yeah.
Like one day your legend that you're currently playing, even though you know it's not good, they will be at some point very viable. You Octane mains out there, God bless you. You're you're gonna have your day. You know, us Wraith mains like myself, I'm gonna take a back seat one day, and I feel like that's something that everyone's got to keep in mind. Where to keep a game fun and healthy for everyone involved, uh,
Gotta grow.
you get yeah, things gotta change, and it's gonna change. And that meta evolution is what keeps a game fresh, and that's just how it's gonna be. And I mean, I welcome that. I'm happy. I'm excited. Lifeline. Ooh, we back in it again. We back in it again.
Is that Tuesday?
That's Tuesday, dude. I'm
Holy
I'm
Christ, I'm a
I,
Lifeline main.
I'm gonna put you on the spot here, but Tuesday, day one, rank split. Let's let's get it,
Let's
man.
go.
Let's get it.
I'm excited.
I'm busy
That's
leveling up my Hunter in Destiny 2 right now, but let's get it.
bring them on over to Apex.
Yeah, baby. Um,
That's nuts. Yeah, I think that's all the changes. I definitely think this. It was hard to like say this beforehand, but like if they weren't announcing crossplay, like it would have just brought the end of Apex so much closer. Like, kind of all games just kind of, reach their twilight and eventually like just fade away unless you're Counter-Strike. But by announcing crossplay, they have breathed new life into the game. And I feel like there's actually
Yeah.
a roadmap. I'm glad that like there's a change Tuesday and there's also something coming like way off in the future, but not so far that it's unfathomable in the fall crossplay.
Yep.
That's like created a roadmap without them calling it that. And yeah, really breathed new life into the game. I remember, when we were playing with Candy during the great Battle Royale year of, when was that, like 2018 or whatever, when like there was a new BR every month and how excited we all were for like where were we going to land next. We were in the
Yeah.
twilight of PUBG. And it was like, we need something new to keep our attention that's going to have a Fortnite-esque moment of just, being something that everybody plays, or at least lots of people play. So that way, we can all still like make content around it, and it will stay fresh and it won't
Isles of
leave
Nine,
quickly.
baby.
Isles of Nine. We're still waiting for that to come back.
No, no one is. Goodbye.
Oh no. Realm Royale. So many games we thought were the game. And I'm glad that Apex like is actually able to do it and walk the walk.
Yeah, no, I'll be the first to admit, like, I love PUBG, and if PUBG comes out with a sequel, something
PUBG
that's like a
2.
yeah, with like a refactored code base, it's not buggy, it's clean, more players are playing it. Sign me up all day, every day. But Apex to this date has been the cleanest, most fun I've ever had in a BR. And I wish it all the success that it deserves. It got it right. Like it got it right more than any of the other games before it.
Yeah, and
Um,
we've been pretty hard on it. I think because we expect
yeah,
so much from this game. Um,
yeah, they set the
just
bar very high.
yeah, from like I don't know, we've probably been harshest on like some of the meta changes, some of the costs of cosmetics are a running joke. Um, and then how the developers have acted in like some of their PR snafus. But I don't know. I still do think all that stuff is coming from a place of love for the
Yep.
game because we know that like it can just be so excellent. Like it's just the goodness is there. I
Yeah,
love the movement and the gunplay.
yeah. I feel like something we touched on recently too was the developers don't understand or know how a professional, someone who's not a professional yet but is going to be a professional, is going to play their game. Like they
Crazy.
develop a game and they don't know what the skill ceiling is of their game. They just know that okay, the game's a hit, it took off, it's great, people like it. Like shield healing bee hopping. It took like 2 to 3 months after Apex came out before anyone knew that that was a thing. But
Yeah.
people exploited it and it increased the skill ceiling. And then they're like, okay, we're going to nerf that. Like, that's not a thing that we expected to happen. Little things like that. Like, I feel like people need to understand as you develop a game, you just don't know what you're developing or how you're influencing the market. And I feel like PUBG suffered the hardest out of that as an indie developer who didn't expect their game to take off as hard as it did. They just
Right.
they just hit, like something, they hit the lottery essentially where they made a game, they thought it was cool, they didn't realize how cool it was. And I feel like Respawn knew how cool their game was, but they didn't realize how high their skill ceiling was. So as they flux and as the meta evolves, the only thing I would say is like, someone with a very mediocre amount of influence over the community is just, give them patience, let them make mistakes, let them make the charge rifle OP and then nerf it when they realize how OP it is and how to properly nerf it. And I feel
Mhm.
like I respect Respawn so much for how measured their response has been with nerfs and buffs and meta changes. It's just like I don't know. I feel like they've done a really really bang up job, and this
Yeah.
lifeline change is something that I'm sure I welcome right now. But when I go up against another team who's rezzing someone I just downed and I can't thirst, I'm gonna be screaming like respawn. You're crazy. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm excited. I'm excited. I feel like Tuesday's gonna be so big. I can't wait.
It's
I'm
gonna be
excited.
lit. Yeah, hopefully lots of players are wanting to play too, and yeah,
Yep.
yeah, should be great. Um, I think we've broken down everything that we need to, and I've got an
Yep.
idea of what would be a good question to take us home.
What's
Um,
that?
because usually we ask our guests, what is your favorite or fondest gaming memory or like
Mm-hmm.
moment in your gaming career? What if you and I shared on the spot
Okay.
our favorite Apex memory?
Ooh.
Or one of our favorite Apex memories because I think we've made a lot. I can go first unless something comes to your
Please.
mind.
No, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah.
it's funny, like this is kind of a couple memories. And this is a weird one because I wasn't really there, but I was watching a
Interesting.
Candy's video, and I think it was you, Candy, and Chaka. In this moment, like this particular moment, and I was just watching, a Candy Brew video, And because I know you guys and we'd also messed around, I think I might have been in the video.
Mhm.
Um, but it was, you know, there's all these like exploits or bugs or kind of quirky things that you could do in the game. And it was when you guys were sticking caustic traps and um octane jump pads on Chaka, who was playing Gibby on his arm
Yeah,
shield.
dude, I
And
remember that.
Chaka, I was just, it was just such, it stands out in my mind because it was so much joy. I was just laughing so hard watching this video. It was just so pure. Chaka's reaction to it all. And like, just this big chungus Gibby, like Chaka, like half in control, mostly not in control, like just bouncing around the map, like he's a Gibby full of like pressurized air, and he just like got a puncture wound, and he's just like flying around like a balloon. It was just, I remember like everybody was like roaring laughing. It was just like such a silly thing. Like we were all like not that great at the game yet, and it was just like, I don't know. It was just so funny. It's so pure.
My favorite part about that video in particular was watching the little legs just flutter
Yeah,
on the Gibby skin, because it's like it's like the character is like, okay, I'm running, but I'm running at this pace, which is crazy fast because the octane jump pad just launched him across
yeah,
the Skull Town area, and his legs are just like flying at like light speed, but he's just like going through the air. It just made it so much more funny, and then Chaka's reaction to it all was just
yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah. That was just
Um,
a real gem for whenever Candy comes out with his, best of Candy
yes.
Roo.
I would say so. My favorite Apex moment, um, and I always come back to this video that Candy put out. This is before you or I did any videos on Apex or streamed or whatever.
Mhm.
It's always it was I like to refer to it as the night where we did the 888 challenge,
Mm,
where we stayed up really late. We all had to work in the morning. I think even this is before Candy quit his job.
right.
We all had to work in the morning. I was drinking that night. I'm trying to keep my voice down because Andy, this was back when we lived in our townhouse. So like Andy was like in the room next to my gaming room slash her previous office before I moved
Yeah.
in with her. And we're trying to get both you guys the 888 badge. And I'm like, I don't even care about the 888 badge. Like, I just want to frag out with you guys. So, like, what? Just tell me who's low. I'll stop shooting, basically. And we spent like hours that night playing until like it was like 1 in the morning or 2 in the morning that night.
Trying to get
Just
8 kills and a win on 8 legends.
and the elite queue. So you
They
had to,
need to bring that shit back. Sorry.
yeah. I
Both of
don't
those
disagree.
were cool.
It was fun. It was really fun. So for those who hadn't played Apex at that point, you had to you had to hit at least top 5. And if your squad hit top 5, you were eligible to play in the elite queue at that point. This is the precursor to ranked. And then the next queue you got into as an elite queue, you played with all other teams that got into the top 5 in the previous public match. And then you had to win the game with 8 kills on the legend you were playing. And if you did that 8 different times on different legends, you got the 888 badge. And that's why the 888 badge is one of the hardest badges, I feel like, or one of the rarest, I should say, that anyone's got. And both Boom and Candy have it. And I kind of like fell on my own sword and was like, I just I don't want to do it. I don't want to. I just don't. I don't want to. I can't. I can't even. I'm trying to help you guys get this. I don't care. So um that night we got you guys both, I think, one game away from it.
Yeah.
Then you finally called it a night. You said, I can't stay up this late. Meg's
I
really
know.
mad at me.
I know.
I feel like that was like the forcing function for me to go to bed and have like a functional day at work the next day. That night was probably one of my more fondest memories of us
Hmm.
playing Apex together as a group. And then the video that Candy put out, I didn't even realize how funny it sounded at the time that I did it. But he puts in this like soliloquy of me
Hmm.
freaking out, and it was completely just on the spot of me saying how I'm hot. It's hot in this room. I want to open the window, but I can't. Because if I do, my dogs are gonna start barking at stuff that's going on in like the village outside of my window. Um, and Candy put all of it in, edited it freaking perfectly. It was just so funny. So if you guys haven't seen that, go check out Candy Roo's 888 video. Um, and find that
Yes.
spot. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's my favorite to this day Kangaroo video slash Apex moment of my life. It trumps it absolutely trumps me hitting Predator, Master, whatever. Like that
Hmm.
stuff's cool, but that was my most fondest memory because that's like the evergreen content that
Hmm.
just will stick around forever.
I've got his video pulled up. I'm gonna watch it now.
It is so
Looking forward to this. I mean, it's one of his best videos. I know I've already seen it.
yeah,
But
it's one of his most viewed videos of Apex
yeah, it's almost
to
at a
date.
million. Holy Lord.
Yep, a million people have heard me talk about my Shibas and how they bark at my neighbors, and it's 100% true. It was just on the spot. I was like, "This is just how I feel," and I'm like unloading my emotions.
We're gonna have Candy do his favorite Apex moment
Yeah,
memory
absolutely.
next time.
Well, I think that does it for us, right?
Hmm.
All
Yeah,
right, I think
I'm stoked.
we're about an hour into this episode. Anyway, I just want to thank everyone for sticking around as long as you have with just Boom and I. I'm sorry Kenny Roo couldn't make it. He'll be on next week's episode, season 1, episode 8 of the 3 stack. We may or may not have a very special guest.
Yep.
You'll just have to find out when the episode drops who it is. Last week it was the Macro Show. Big props to Macro. Uh I don't think we got anything else to talk about this episode. Boom. Are you good?
Yeah, working title for next episode is gonna be "Please Nerf Lifeline." Excited for that.
Let's hope,
we're
dude.
gonna be show up next week all disheveled. Be like, well, this fucking sucks. Lifeline is way too strong.
Fuck this
Everybody's
meta.
rest.
All right. Well, this is Hugepwnr. As always, is the Boomrazzle. And we'll see you guys next week on the next episode of the 3 stack, even though this is a 2 stack. We love you guys. Thank you so much for joining. Goodbye.